Okay, so now we've got to discuss both views and give your opinion, task 2 style essay. So discussing both views and giving your opinion. So we know we're going to have the structure of introduction. Body 1 is going to be opinion A, body 2 is going to be opinion B, and then in your conclusion, you're going to give your own opinion. But the strongest answers will also give your opinion in your body 1 and body 2 too. Okay? So in sort of way, either you should be letting me know in your body 1 and body 2 which side of the argument you agree with, because you are discussing both views and you're giving your opinion as you go through the essay. So one thing that counts towards your coherence and cohesion is, are you building towards something? Are you structuring your argument towards something? And so part of building that, like building to a point or building to something important in your essay, part of that is by making sure your opinion is being shown in both your body 1 and body 2 sections. Okay, so let's look at the question. The topic is, some people think that parents should teach children how to be good members of society. Others believe that school is the place to learn this. So discuss both these views and give your own opinion. So, should children be taught mostly by their parents or should it be taught in schools? So let's see what this candidate has done. While it's sometimes argued that it is better for children to be educated by their parents to function well in society, I would have to support the idea that teachers should be the ones who teach them how to be good members of society. Okay, nothing wrong with this. Perfectly good introduction. Could you add a little bit more background information on the topic? Sure. Could you add sort of like your subtopics or reasons? Reasons why? Sure, that would also be good. So yeah, I think it's a perfectly functional introduction. Nothing wrong with that. On the other hand, on the one hand, there are arguments that parents should educate their children. Educate their children to what? To be better members of society, to be more helpful members of society, to be more useful members of society. Parents should educate their children. I mean, this is kind of like something I was like, yeah, of course parents should educate their children in things, but the question is asking very specifically to be good members of society or not. One of the main reasons is that parents spend most of their time with their children. This means that, there's no need to be no comma here, this means that they are the ones who know their children the best, and therefore they can correct them more efficiently whenever they misbehave. Another reason is that parents feel responsible to raise their children as good members of society. This is because they have a stronger attachment to their children than teachers might have, since schools tend to focus more on academic aspects. Okay, this is like a nice logical argument. Thus, it would be more effective for children to be taught by their parents. Okay, nice. We've got some nice linking words. We've got some nice sort of different types of complex sentences. We've got a couple of rogue commas, but I'm not going to be too fussed about that. They give the topic. Okay, we're going to talk about why it should be parents. They give the reason 1. They explain their reason in more detail. And then they sort of give the second reason. This is because, and they explain why their reason supports their argument. So the only thing that's missing is that I would just like to see their opinion shown to me more in this essay. So do you agree or disagree with this point of view? Okay, and then we've got, on the other hand, in my view, okay, so we've got opinion here, which is good. School should be the place for students to learn it. We can't be referencing when you've not told me something like this. What do you mean for students to learn how to be good members of society? First of all, teachers specialize in the particular way to make their students well behaved, in the particular ways to make their students well behaved. They learned about expertise knowledge. They learned expertise knowledge about children's behavior in school before they became teachers. Therefore, teachers are able to offer proper education and useful advice to their students. Secondly, school is the first place for children to socialize with other people. Since it is crucial to start the first step, schools have an important role in educating their students. Okay, so again, what I like about this essay is that it's got a very nice, logical, clearly and well explained argument. So given the first reason, because teachers have specialist knowledge, then they explain deeper. They learned about it in school before they became teachers. Crucial. Therefore, they're able to offer proper education and useful advice to their students. Okay, so we've got our point. Okay, this is classic British style. Point. Teachers are specialized in it. Okay, then you give an example. You back it up. So because they learned about how to do this when they trained to be a teacher. Okay, and then you explain the link between sentence 1 and sentence 2. Therefore, they're able to offer proper education and useful advice to their students. Okay, that's a brilliantly well explained extended point. Okay, a lot of students would just leave it after 2 sentences, but this candidate has gone for the extra 3rd sentence. And they've explained it much better and more clearly. Secondly, school is the first place. Schools inform people. Okay, so this is a little bit shorter, but the first point was very good and very logical. Okay, so far in terms of task achievement, in terms of coherence and cohesion, I think this is great. The grammar is very consistent. What it really makes a good impression in this essay is that this candidate is really not trying really hard to be very fancy, very overly academic in their language. That trips up a lot of candidates, that they are so focused on using these high-level words that it ends up making their writing confusing. This candidate is writing very clearly, very easy for me to understand. I understand exactly what they're trying to say. They're using slightly longer and more complex sentences, but they're not obviously stretching to try and use vocabulary or use grammar that they're not comfortable in using. In conclusion, for the reasons mentioned above, it seems to me that children are more likely to become good members of society when they learn it at school. Okay, very solid conclusion. Overall, a very well-structured, logical, well-argued essay. Okay, so I don't have many problems or many nitpicking things to do about it. I liked, especially, I think that they were most strong in their task achievement and in their coherence and cohesion. Okay, especially coherence and cohesion because everything was sort of logically explained. Okay. Coherence means like, does what you say make sense? Is it coherent? Is it logical? Yes, I'd say this candidate was very good at that. In terms of task achievement, I want to be giving them a sort of a 6.5. They addressed all parts of the task. They explained things. Could they have used more examples? Sure. Could they have been a little bit more specific, or used some statistics, fake statistics to back it up? Yeah, sure. They could have added in more, but what they did was perfectly adequate. And the same for coherence and cohesion. I would want to give it sort of a 6.5. The essay flowed well. Everything was logically organized in their paragraphs. I thought that was great. Vocabulary, again, the vocabulary was pretty consistent. Were they using specialist words? Not really. So I would say the vocabulary was a little bit weaker, so probably a 6.0. And then the same with the grammar. Their grammar was consistent. Their grammar was clear. There really weren't very many mistakes. But could they have shown me a little bit more in terms of tenses, in terms of hypotheticals, in terms of conditional sentences? Sure, they could have shown me a little bit more. But what they did was a mix of complex and simple sentences, some mistakes, but doesn't hinder communication. Great. Overall, I'd want to give this essay a 6.5. I thought it was logical. There were very few mistakes, and it was well argued.